Welcome everyone. This is Michael J. Mayer, best-selling author of 7L, The 7 Levels of Communication, which shows you how to go from relationships to referrals. We're going to get started in just a minute here. Thank you for being early. I always appreciate that. While you are waiting, there is a questions box to the right on your panel. Please open up the questions box and tell me your name, your location, and your profession. Your name, your location, and your profession. Please put it in the questions box now, and we use this as a sound check, but I use it so that I get to know you a little bit better. So thank you for being here, and really appreciate it. So we have Kathy Baxter here from Toronto. You're the first one in the door. How about that for cool? And she is from Toronto, Canada. So this is not just an all-American crowd. This is an all North American crowd. So good stuff. Thank you for being here. And we've got Devin Adamson from Austin, Texas, who is a real, now we got people typing in. Here we go. Somebody woke up the bear because now I'm gonna have to scroll down to check everybody. So thank you for being on, and I appreciate it. And we've got people from Texas, Illinois, Canada, and I have to tell you, one of the things that I was going to talk about in this session is Gen KC. Remind me to talk about the Referral Mastery Summit, which is coming up in November. And I would highly recommend that you check into the Referral Mastery Summit event that's in Atlanta, direct flight from anywhere, even Toronto, Canada. And it's referralmasterysummit.com. And you can check that out there. So good stuff. Tina's in the house, Cindy's in the house, Michael's in the house, David's in the house. Kathy Baxter's already going. She's already booked for Referral Mastery Summit. How cool is that? She is ready to go. And I will tell you what, you're going to rock the network marketing world with what you learn from that event. So I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, people are flooding into the door right now. Hey, everybody, we're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. Thank you for being here. And for those of you that are new to the room, do me a favor, and in the questions box, put your name, your location, and your profession. So name, location, profession. And I can't wait to share with you today's strategy. Today is a strategy that costs you no money, and yet provides you with dozens and dozens of referrals throughout the year. And it's a lot of fun. Something you're going to learn about in this session today is, you know what, you have to win the war. You know, if you're in network marketing, there's only one person that can be chosen for their upline. And if it's not you, then you don't get any of the residual. You don't get any of the upward. So the bottom line is that you've got to win the war. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, is we do not have to hate the battle. It does not have to be a grind. We do not have to hustle, so to speak, in the old age of hustling. We don't have to kill. We don't have to crush. We don't have to do any of that stuff. The bottom line is that you can win the war and enjoy the battle, which I'm going to show you how to win the war and enjoy the battle one phone call at a time in the next 45 minutes. So thank you for being here. We're going to get started in just a minute, and I'm very excited to have you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in the door. We are going to get started in just 1 minute. Thank you for coming in. For those of you that are new, do me a favor, and in the questions box, which is on the right, you're just going to put in the questions box your name, your location, and your profession. And by the way, I know there's many of you that I have not mentioned your name or said your name, but welcome to the room. Tina Sale from Chicago, Illinois. You are a sales assistant. And Tina, in what profession? In what profession are you a sales assistant? And we have Cindy Squires from Wichita, Kansas. She is an insurance district manager, so district manager for insurance. I can't wait to share this strategy with you as well. And Tina, you are in the mortgage industry. Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to get started just here in 1 minute. And I will tell you that this strategy that I'm about to share with you, I'm going to share it to you with a background on a little bit of real estate background, so to speak, but it is applicable to anything. And in fact, it's one of the secrets to the success of my book. And I can't wait to share. So we have Kevin Mokol, which is in the house from Overland Park, Kansas. He is also an insurance agency owner. Welcome, Kevin, to the webinar, to the show, and we're going to get started in just 1 minute here. Thank you for being here, and welcome, David. Welcome, Melissa. Excuse me. Sorry. Welcome, Melissa. Welcome to Emily. Welcome to Donna. Very good. Welcome to another Michael. We have some Michaels on today. We have some Davids on today. And we have some Kathys on today. Several Kathys. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being on. We're going to get started just here in 1 minute, and actually less than 1 minute, about 30 seconds. And I just want to welcome everybody that is new. Those of you that have just come in, do me a favor, in the questions box, put your name, location, and profession. Thank you so much. You guys catch on very quickly here. I love it. And I see some familiar faces and some familiar names on here, so welcome. I appreciate that. All right, we are going to jump in. We are on time and ready to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 2019 Army of Ambassadors tour. We are doing the tour in person around the United States, Canada, and Bahamas. Unfortunately, with everything going on with the Bahamas, oh my gosh, you know, with Hurricane Dorian, we are doing some charity events and some helpful things for them. But prayers and best wishes for the Bahamas and our coaching clients that are in that area. So we are doing tours around North America, including Hawaii. We even went to Alaska within the last year. So a lot of fun, a lot of spread, and it's been a phenomenal success. Because here's the thing about the Army of Ambassadors. What is an Army of Ambassadors? An Army of Ambassadors is creating this army of unpaid salespeople for you, your services, and your products. This is somebody who speaks highly of you and refers you willingly everywhere they go. They're literally a walking, talking billboard. But here's the thing, you don't pay for it. You do not pay them a monetary fee to be a walking billboard. They are unpaid salespeople for you and your business. And as you all know, the best time or the best date to build an Army of Ambassadors was 10 years ago. The second best time to build your Army of Ambassadors is today. So I'm going to show you how to build this Army of Ambassadors for free, literally free to get unpaid salespeople. It doesn't get any better than that. Those of you that are new to me, my name is Michael J. Mayer. I'm the CEO of a company called Referral, and we are the world's foremost authority in business referrals. We consult to the newbie in many different fields, with a lot of our focus in the real estate industry and insurance industry. And that flows all the way up to Fortune 1000 companies who are implementing our event-based business system. So I am North America's most preferred real estate professional, and I generated over 500 documented referrals each and every year for 10 straight years. Also the #1 best-selling author of a couple of books that you may have heard of, The 7 Levels of Communication and The Miracle Morning for real estate agents. So I'm also the proud father and founder of the Generosity Generation. So the first thing I want to say is welcome to the Generosity Generation. You have evolved from the ego era, and I truly, truly congratulate you. So first and foremost, I have to thank those of you in the questions box. How many of you have read 7L? How many of you have read the book 7L, the 7 Levels of Communication? In the questions box, just put me. In the questions box, put me if you have read it, or put yes if you've read it, and put no if you haven't. How about that for a yes, no answer? So yes or no. Sorry, I got to open up my window on my end. So Devin has read it. That's right. Tina has not read it. Kathy has read it. And Cynthia has not only read it, but also bought and shared for 25 of my insurance agents. How cool is that? Let's see, Devin has read it, and then Kevin has not read it, And now he is going to check it out right now because Cynthia said that she just bought 20 of them or 25 of them for her insurance agency. And so David and Cindy and Michael have all read it. And a few of you have not read it. So let me ask you this. To those of you that have read it, what would you tell someone who has not read it? Because we actually have about half the audience here, believe it or not, who has not read 7L, the 7 levels of communication. Those of you that have read it, what would you tell someone who has not read it? Type in the questions box your answer to that. And while you're doing that, let me just say thank you. Let me say thank you to those of you that have read it and shared it with others. We just crossed an amazing threshold in the world. We just crossed 8 straight years as the #1 book in sales on Amazon.com. So we have been #1 in the real estate sales category for over 8 years. And guess what? Here's what's amazing. 100% of the sales of 7L is word of mouth and referral. So no marketing, no advertising, no promotion, 100% word of mouth, 100% people like Cynthia, people like Kathy Baxter, and I know I'm naming your names, people like Devin, who have shared this message with others. And because of their influence, because of Cynthia and Devin and everybody's influence, guess what? People have bought the book, and not just bought it, but bought it in record numbers. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for reading it and sharing the message. I really appreciate that. So Cynthia Squires says to anybody who has not read it, this book has simple, make sense tips on how to build relationships the right way. And then Kathy says, this is the most ingenious way to do relationship marketing and the most really honest way to get referrals. Oh, and does he get the girl? Yes, that's right. It is a love story. And Kathy says, you have to read it to find out if Rick Masters gets the girl. So we'll see. So thank you. Also, do me a favor, check out referralspodcast.com, referralspodcast.com. It's 100% free. And here's the thing, I want to profile you on Referrals Podcast. So what does it take to get on Referrals Podcast? Do you have to be a celebrity? Do you have to be famous? Do you have to be an actor? Do you have to be an actress? Do you have to be a supermodel? Nope. You just have to be a super implementer. So implement and do me a favor, let us know about your success. We'd love to bring you on. We just brought on Emily Carew, who was in Orlando, and she did a call day with her team. She's not a team leader. She's an assistant. She's a staff member, and yet she implemented, and it turned out to be big referrals for her team. So bottom line, check out referralspodcast.com, subscribe at iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Please rate and review it if you haven't yet. And then, of course, I'm always going to ask, please share, right? Let people know about it if you like it. Referrals Magazine is on the bookshelves everywhere. Check out referralsmagazine.com for that. And we do want to profile you on the cover. Can't wait for you to make that happen. Once again, same thing. Right to the content. Yep, I know. It's just like bang, 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 and here we are. So, and by the way, I just love what you guys are typing. I won't be able to type everything you put in the questions box, but that is the primary way to communicate with me. So thank you. Here's the other thing. As we go through this, I want you to know that I have places in here for your questions. So I will answer those questions and we'll make it happen. So we are going to move forward. Now, this is for anybody. Okay, this is for anyone. And here's the thing. Like, we all know people. Like, on average, we know, between 150 and 15,000 people. So here's the thing. Why aren't we getting at least one referral from every single person we know? Why don't we get at least one referral every year from every person that we know? Why do you think that is? The #1 reason you aren't getting the first referral from every single person you know, every single person in your database is, so why do you think that is? Tell me in the questions box. What do you think the answer is this? Yeah. So a lot of times people will say, you know what? Asking. What if I told you that the number one reason you aren't getting any referrals from your database is because you ask for referrals, right? What if isn't that funny? Wouldn't that be like counterintuitive? But the truth is that when you ask for referrals, it's a very selfish act because you're the only one that wins. And the second thing is you're putting people on the spot, which makes them uncomfortable. And if you make people uncomfortable, then they will retreat. It's repulsive to ask for referrals in my books, as far as in conversation, right? Are there ways to ask for referrals that are very respectful and keeps the dignity of everybody? Yes, there are. But that's not the number one reason we aren't getting the first referral from every single person in our database. The number one reason you aren't getting the first referral from everybody insurance agents, what if you got a referral from everyone you knew? And just think about that, because in many cases your residual adds up, and this is something Geico can never give them. You know what I mean? Geico doesn't get referrals. People don't say, like, hey, go to Geico, right? They've done it all through advertising. Progressive, they've done it mostly recently through advertising. They're spending millions and millions of dollars, and people still aren't using them. They're still going to their referred source. They're still asking, who's your insurance agent? And guess what? I mean, I just did this in an audience. I said, how many of you have Geico as your insurance agent? And there was zero in the audience, 200 and some people. And then I said, all right, how many of you have Progressive? And two people raised their hand. So listen, and I go, how many of you know the name of your insurance agent? And they raised their hands, like 100 in the audience raised their hand. We want to know things like that. We want to know our realtor. That's why all this stuff about Amazon getting into real estate, it doesn't really worry me, because you're not going to buy your house on Amazon. You're not. Maybe you'll buy $100,000 house on Amazon, but you're not going to buy a $400,000 house on Amazon. So here's the thing. The number one reason you aren't getting that first referral from every single person in your database is perceived indifference. So perceived indifference, here's what this means, is they perceive that you don't need, and listen, insurance agents, listen, realtors, listen, lenders, I'm talking to you. There is a perceived indifference. What they mean is that they don't know they need your help, they need your that you want their business, and that you want their referrals. They don't know that. And you're like, well, I keep asking. Yeah, asking is kind of like begging. It's kind of it comes across too desperate most of the time. And here's the thing, is what we need to do is we need to communicate in a way that shows them that we care, but it also communicates in a way that shows them that we want their introductions, connections, and referrals. Do you want their introductions, connections, and referrals? Do you want people to introduce you, connect you, and refer you? Say yes if you do in the questions box. Say no if you don't want them introducing, connecting, or referring you. Tina Sale in the house first. Nice job. Tina's a yes, right? You might think that this is an obvious answer, but you know what? There are some professions and some professionals who don't want it. They don't want people to introduce them or connect them or refer them, and it's okay. So everybody says yes. I'm getting lots of yeses. So now let's go to the second part here. Now, we've all gotten referrals, but why didn't we get the second referral? Now, this may hit a little home for you, but I also want you to know that I've made this mistake as well. I have screwed this up on many occasions. I don't mean to. I try my best at it, but I did have a follow-up problem. I was getting too many referrals for the time I had to follow up, which is a great problem to have, but it was a problem. So the number one reason you aren't getting the second referral from every single referral source is lack of expressed appreciation. Now, you are appreciative. What you just forgot to do, and you might think, well, you know what? I served the person that they sent over. I did a good job with them. That's not enough. That's not enough. Who is more important, the client or the referral source? I'll let you answer that. In the questions box, who is more important, the client or the referral source? The referred client or the referral source who referred the client? Who's more important? No, it is not equal. If you had to make a priority, right? Yes. Let me ask it in a different way. Which is more important, the golden goose or the golden egg? Yeah, the golden egg is the client. The golden goose, baby, the golden goose is the referral source. And I have to tell you, that's what makes me different than every other person out there talking about referrals, is they see people as clients and potential clients. I don't see people that way. I see people as potential referral sources. I see people as potential ambassadors who can spread the word about my business and refer me willingly. And I'm going to tell you something. If you get nothing else from the rest of this webinar, except for the following, I want to ask you, we talk about a customer service process. We talk about our customer service. We talk about contract to close. We talk about, CX, customer service, customer experience. But what is your referral source experience? I'm going to ask this very bluntly. What is your referral source system? And the fact of the matter is 99% of the businesses I talk to don't have a referral source system. So write that down in your notes. It doesn't take much. It's easy. I'm going to show you a really easy one today. And it's called the Great Retrace. It costs you no money, and yet the rewards are not just referrals, but how about a good feeling? Wouldn't it be cool if you got a great feeling and you got referrals? And what I'll tell you is, if you're not getting a great feeling, you're probably not going to get referrals. Do you get a great feeling from asking for referrals? Probably not. So guess what? You're probably not going to get referrals from that. So I'm going to help you with the referral source system. Now, I'm going to give you a real estate example, and then I'll expand down the road, and we can talk about it a little bit. But here's what I do. When I get a client who is referred to me, I will write down their name in my blessings book, and I have a blessings book right here next to me. And as soon as I get a referral, I write down the name of the referral. That makes sense, doesn't it? Right? We do a good job of that because hopefully they're a client. In this case, Stephanie did become a client. So now I need to also write down, and I literally do it right below Stephanie's name. So right below Stephanie, I'm going to write Christy's name. And Christy is the referral source. Now, just documenting that puts you way ahead of a lot of people. But now what we're going to do is go above and beyond most referral generating strategies. And listen, this is so easy for Kathy. Kathy, you have to document this in many cases. Now, what I'm going to encourage you to do, Kathy, in your network marketing business is I'm going to encourage you to keep your own Excel file. That's what I'm going to encourage you to do. And that's where I keep mine, right? So now, Christy, where did Christy come from? That's my next level of thought on this. And I think to myself, you know what? Joyce connected me to Christy a couple of years ago at a networking function. So Joyce introduced or connected me to Christy. Would I have had Stephanie as a client if Joyce had not connected me to Christy? And the answer is an obvious no. If I had never been introduced to Christy, I would have never gotten the referral of Stephanie. So guess what? Joyce gets some credit. Joyce deserves some love for introducing me to Christy. She introduced me to a referral source. That's a big deal. But I'm not going to stop there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm then going to think to myself, who connected, introduced, or referred me to Joyce? And it was Denise. Denise referred me to Joyce about 7 years ago. Now, Denise referred me to Joyce, so she gets a little bit of love as well, because without Denise, I would have never had this new client. And guess what? We're going to trace it back. Jay connected me to Denise. Jennifer actually referred me to Jay. Chris referred me to Jennifer. Brad connected me to Chris. Todd introduced me to Brad at a meeting. And Joe was responsible for me meeting Todd. So that's the first thing I do is document the retrace. And this is definitely a great retrace. This particular one is a great retrace. But now, any questions on the lineage, on going back through the trace? Any questions on that before I go to the next part of this, which is the calls? You have 30 seconds. Go. Any questions on how I form it? It is pretty straightforward, pretty obvious. Yes, you guys are telling me that it's pretty straightforward, pretty obvious. I get it. Listen, nothing you're going to get from me is going to be rocket science, or Einsteinian. Maybe it is going to be a little Einsteinian in the fact that it's like there's a lot of stuff out there, and I've really come to simplify it down to E equals MC squared. But there's nothing here that is not going to be truly simple. So I'm going to keep going. All right. Now, that's the Great Retrace, and these are actual pictures of the first 4 people in the Great Retrace that I shared with you. Now, you might think, well, there's 4 boxes, is there only 4 people in a Great Retrace? No, in this one, there's 10. You could have 2, you could have 1. If somebody came through an internet lead, you might only have 1 level here, but I would ask you, I would say, like, who was most influential for you building that website? Or whatever, like if you're getting internet lead from a place, there's always someone who's responsible or most responsible for you to be connected with another human being. Isn't that cool? I mean, without that person, you wouldn't have done this, you wouldn't have done that, and so on and so forth. So here's the deal is you might also say, well, there's 4 very pretty women on the screen. Do you only call women? Yes, I only call women. No, I call men and I call women. And in this Great Retrace, it just so happens that the first 4 are women. Now, why are there not 10 on the screen? Well, the reason there are not 10 on the screen is because calls 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all the exact same. So when I do call number 4, it is rinse, shampoo, rinse, and repeat, truly. So call 4 will tell you what I'm doing, and you can make call 5, call 6, call 7, call 8, call 9, call 10, because they're the exact same. So now, everybody, listen up. This is the power of the referral source system. Is what are the milestones for my client? What are the milestones? So when somebody is referred to you, that is obviously a milestone. And just so you know, I'm going to share this. I'm going to share you a really powerful way to get more referrals for every referral you get. I'm going to show you that to you at the very, very end. For those of you that hang out with me to the very end, yes, that is a trick to get you to stay to the very end, but I will tell you, it is worth every ounce of staying to the very end. Now, for a seller, what are the biggest days during their time with me? Well, when they, now I could put in here, listing appointment. I could put that in here. It could belong. It could, but what I've decided to do is I decided that when they sign, which sometimes happens at the listing appointment, when they sign the exclusive right to sell, that is going to trigger me to contact everybody, all 10 people in the retrace. So please notice when I get the referral, I do the retrace, I contact all of them in a very special way. Then when I get the business, I will let everybody know in the retrace. Then for a seller, a really big day is they have just spent 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks preparing their home for sale. And the day it goes on the market is a really big nerve-wracking day. So we're going to contact them on day 0. When the home goes under contract, that is a milestone, as you can probably imagine. And then number 5 is when the closing happens, it's going to trigger a retrace. Now, many of you know that my team became famous because we throw a housewarming party for every client. So when they buy a house, 45 to 60 days after closing, we do a housewarming party. So I didn't put it on here because the housewarming party is kind of optional. But if you're an insurance agent, a housewarming party is a really good way to partner with your realtor partners. It's a really good way to partner with your lender partners. Lenders, it's a really good way to partner with your realtor partners. Lenders, it's also a really good way to partner with your insurance partners, to partner to throw a housewarming party for the client. So there could be a number 6 on here as well, and there could be 7. 7 could be the listing presentation. But there could be a 6, which is when the housewarming party occurs. You're going to communicate with all of them during the housewarming party as well. But the 5 triggers that are milestones for every seller that is referred are referral, exclusive right to sell, day 0, contract, and closing. So now I do want to just show you that on here, during the referral, my communication I'm going to share with you later. When I get an exclusive right to sell, it's going to be a voicemail or a text. Please notice that's not a phone call. It's just simply a reach, right? A reach out and touch. Day 0 in the real estate world is worthy of a phone call. I'm going to share that with you. And then every contract triggers a retrace, voicemail or text. And then every closing triggers a retrace, okay? Now, Stephanie is my seller. So this is the day 0 call. So I'm going to call, and this is just the outline. And you can write this down or take a screenshot of this. But, you know, this is a different, if you're in insurance or direct or network marketing, or you're in lending, maybe. But here's the thing. I'm going to educate my seller on showings, and then I'm going to ask the seller, how are you feeling right now? I'm just going to say, how are you feeling right now? And I have to tell you that no matter what you're in, how are you feeling right now about your insurance, right? How are you feeling right now about your insurance policy? And here's what, you've never asked that before. I know you've never asked that before. You've never asked them how they're feeling about their insurance policy, because you've probably done what's right by them, and you probably, through the other questions that you asked, probably, but here's the thing, how are you feeling right now could conjure up great questions on their behalf. You know, let them ask the question, how are you feeling right now about your insurance policy? And I'm talking, this is a client you just got. So this is your insurance policy that you're asking them, but you're not just asking about the insurance policy or the loan or the mortgage. Just ask them, how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling? And the thing about it is, in the business setting, a lot of times we ask what they're thinking, or we ask about what they're thinking, or tell me what you're thinking, or a lot of it's about thought. But I want you to know, real connection is made through feel, not thought. Real connection is made through feel, not thought. So asking who asks another person, how are you feeling right now? Someone who cares. And I will tell you that you will go from a pushy salesperson, unapproachable maybe, to a real human being who is very referable. And most of my clients are going to say they're anxious or nervous or whatever it may be. Stephanie actually said exhausted. And I'm going to tell Stephanie, hey, listen, we're going to get through this together. We're going to get through this together. Now, next, I'm going to express appreciation. Everybody should write down these steps. And I'm just going to say, hey, Stephanie, you know what? We're going to get through this together. And she says something like, well, you know, your team's been great, or whatever it may be. And then I'm going to just say, hey, listen, Stephanie, before we even get down the road of this any further, I just want to say thank you. I just want to express my appreciation and my team's appreciation for you choosing me. We are genuinely excited about getting this solution to you and helping you get to the next point. And I just wanted to say thank you. And that's it. Now, from what we learned before about referrals is number one is why don't we get the first referral is perceived indifference. You know what perceived indifference is? Perceived indifference is perception that you don't care. So number two here instantly overcomes number one. It instantly overcomes the number one reason people don't refer you. Now, please notice that number three on here instantly overcomes the lack of expressed appreciation. So guess what? Stephanie is now becoming a referral source for us. Now, number four is basically I tell them, hey, listen, do we want to market this home at 95% or 100%? They say 100%. And I'm like, great, because I can only do things 100%. I'm going to do 95%. I'm going to market out of the internet, share it with 1 million people, but I need your help with the 5%. And that 5% is the people they know. I'm going to ask them to share the home on Facebook, Twitter, and email everyone they know. Okay. Then I'm going to say, hey, Stephanie, I'm going to call Christy. Is there any message that you want me to deliver to Christy? I'm just going to let her know and give her an update on the fact that your home is now on the market. Is there any message you want me to deliver? Well, tell her thank you. You know what would be great, Stephanie, is if you told her thank you. Would it be all right if I had Christy give you a call? Okay, great. I'll have her give you a call. Now, the other thing I want you to know, Stephanie, is that we have a system for communication. The number one complaint at the National Association of Realtors about realtors is lack of communication. So we just conquered that. We have a communication system for our sellers, and it's called Every Seller Every Monday. So I want you to know, Stephanie, that we're going to call you every Monday until your home is under contract. Once your home goes under contract, we're going to call you every Monday until you close. And then after you close and you move to Chicago, I'm going to call you every Monday for the rest of your life because I don't want you to forget about me. Okay, Stephanie, I'm kind of kidding about the last one, but the deal here is we're going to call you every single Monday from now until you close. And why are we calling Monday? Is because the market is speaking the loudest on weekends in real estate. So when real estate and the real estate market is speaking the loudest, we're going to listen and speak to you. So that's why we call on Mondays. So if you have any questions or any emergencies other than that, don't hesitate to reach out to us, but please know that every seller will get a call on Monday. So that's it. Stephanie, I appreciate you and have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Click. All right. In the questions box, what did you learn from this call? The day we call it the day zero call. What did you learn? Remember, this is the client. So this is just a good, this is a good idea to call the client on the day their home goes on the market anyway. Kathy says, I've learned to appreciate everybody, especially clients. Yep. What else? She feels well informed and trust is building. I'm hoping that at this point, trust is already there. That's what I'm really hoping because we have done a call because of the referral. We have done a listing presentation. We have done a seller consultation in the office where we tell them what's next. And then we have probably worked with them with a stager, with maybe 1-800-GOT-JUNK, that kind of thing. Tina says, I've learned that communication is very important, not just with the client. She now likes you and feels more like a friend who would want to refer you to her friends. Exactly. And what did I do to go from just a pushy salesperson or a professional entrepreneur to a friend, a referable friend? What did I say or do? Number one is you included her in the process, and that's exactly right. I also asked, how are you feeling right now? Which is just an absolute barrier uh, uh, coming down. All right, we're going to keep going. Now, I'm going to call the referral source. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm going to call the referral source. And Christy is the referral source, and I call Christy and I say, hey, listen, Christy, Stephanie's house is on the market, right? So here's another way to do this if you're in insurance is, hey, Stephanie's doing a policy with us, or Stephanie's a new client of mine. You can do something like that. And then get her to answer, get her to respond. So in this case, Christy says, oh, cool. Thanks for taking care of my friend. And then I'm going to go right into expressing my appreciation. And I'm going to say, hey, listen, before I even get to this next part, I just wanted to say thank you so much for connecting me to Stephanie. And we're genuinely excited to get her to Chicago and get her the next part and get the family back together and so on and so forth. And listen, if it wasn't for you referring me to Stephanie, I would have never had the opportunity to help her or her family. So thank you. And Christy says, wow, thank you. And thank you for taking care of my friend. Awesome. Here's the other thing is Christy, you know, you know a lot of people in Overland Park, Kansas, where Stephanie's house is. You know a lot of people in the Kansas City area. If I sent you 2 or 3 sentences about the home, would you mind sharing that on Facebook and Twitter and maybe emailing out your friends about her house? Would that be okay? It's going to take you about 3 or 4 more minutes to do that. Is that all right? Yeah, I'll share on Facebook and Twitter and send an email out. Okay, great. Awesome. Here's the other thing is when I called Stephanie, I asked her how she was feeling. And Christy, she said exhausted. Christy, it's day 0 and she's exhausted. Would you do me a favor and do Stephanie a favor? Would you call Stephanie and just kind of pep her up? Would you let her know, hey, listen, we're going to get through this together? Let her know she hired the services of a top producer and I've sold thousands of homes and I'm going to get her sold too. Would you just let her know that? Sure. Awesome. You know what, Christy? I knew you're a great person. I knew you'd say yes to that. And I want you to know I really appreciate it, but I'm going to tell you, Stephanie will appreciate it even more. So thank you. And then here's the other thing is Christy, I'm going to call Joyce, who connected me to you. And I'm just going to thank her for bringing you into my life. Is there any message you want me to deliver to Joyce? You know, here's the thing. Don't you need to reconnect anyway? Don't you and Joyce need to reconnect? Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll reconnect the 2 of you. I'll have Joyce call you. Does that sound good? So you call Stephanie, I'll call Joyce, and then also look for the information about Stephanie's house to put on Facebook, Twitter, and send to your email friends on within 24 hours. So here's the other thing is Christy, we're going to get this home under contract. We're going to get it closed. Do you mind if I update you when those things happen? Is that okay? Sure. Awesome. Christy, I really appreciate you. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Click. All right. So pause. So far, we have called the client and congratulated them on the new policy or the new home or the on the market. And we have called the referral source and call this your referral source system. So what is your biggest aha so far? What have you learned? What have you gotten out of this? Please put the answer in the questions box. Yeah. So love including the client and the referral source in the process. Listen, that is the answer. The answer is that we're going to include everyone in the process. Everyone who is even remotely tied to this will know that you have a new client, that you're still doing business. And not only are you still doing business, you're communicating at a level they never thought imaginable for your profession. Kathy says, if you take care of those who refer you and your clients, you will always win. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people take care of their friends, whatever it may be, their clients. But I don't think they wow them. all the time. Or they try to wow them with a really awkward gift or here's the thing, we're wowing people with communication. And the truth is the better our communication, the more people will communicate with us, period. And more people will communicate us about referrals. What have you learned so far? What else have you learned so far? I'll tell you one other thing that I've learned is I have learned to prepare myself water before doing a webinar. So I'm just throwing that out there, just so, because I was about ready to cough on you, and that would not be good. But I was saved by the water genie or the water fairy. All right, we're gonna keep going now. Here's where it gets cool. You thought it was cool already, but here's where it gets even cooler. So I'm going to call Joyce. Now remember, Joyce doesn't really know that this referral happened. Now she has maybe some idea because of the great retrace I did around the referral. But I'm going to now call Joyce and I'm going to go, hey Joyce, Stephanie's house on the market, or Stephanie got me a new, Stephanie's a new client of mine. And Joyce is going to be like, who's Stephanie? And you're going to go, thank you for asking because you played a part in this. Really? What did I do? Oh, here's the thing. Do you remember connecting me to Christy at a networking function a couple of years ago? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I definitely remember it. And Christy referred me to her friend Stephanie. So the first reason for my call is to express my appreciation. Joyce, listen, if you had never connected me to Christy, I would have never been referred to Stephanie, and I wouldn't have had the chance to help her and her family. So thank you. Joyce picks up her chin off the table and she goes, wow, you're welcome, but that's awesome. How do you remember all that? Or whatever it may be, right? And I'll say, well, you remember what's important to you, and you're important to me, and I really appreciate that. And here's the other thing is, Stephanie's house is on the market just literally today, and we've done a lot. And here, I'm going to ask you a favor, if you don't mind, is if I sent you something that you could share on Facebook and Twitter, and maybe email your friends about this hot, fresh new listing, would you do that? Would you post if you could copy and paste it in less than 2 or 3 minutes, would you post that on Facebook and Twitter? Sure. Would you send this out to your friends? You don't have to send it out to a lot of people, but those that are in the area, because you never know who they know, and they could be looking for a house. And in today's market, the first one to see a house a lot of times buys it. So maybe one of your friends could be the first one to see it, maybe buy it. Would that be cool? Yeah. So I'll send you that information. Here's the other thing. I just got off the phone with Christy. We talked about you a little bit, but it was all good, trust me. And she asked me to reconnect the two of you. So I've got Christy's number. Would you mind giving her a call when we're done here? Okay, great. I'll get you that information. And speaking of connecting, I'm now going to call Denise, who referred me to you. And I'm going to call Denise and just thank her for referring me to you, because without her referring me to you, I would have never known you, which is, that would be a loss in my life. So here's the thing, is there any message that you want me to deliver to Denise? Or better yet, the two of you probably need to reconnect. Would you agree? How about I just reconnect the two of you? Would it be okay if I had Denise call you? Okay, I'll do that. I'll have Denise call you. You call Christy, I'll call Denise, and then within the next 24 hours, look for information that you can share with your friends. And awesome. And here's the other thing is, Joyce, we're going to get this home under contract. We're going to get it closed. When that happens, because you played an important part of this, is it okay if I just reach out to you to give you an update, either a voicemail or a text or a call? Is that okay? Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Click. All right. Denise is the fourth one down. She referred me to Joyce. Now, I'm going to do the same thing. It's all the same, except for towards the end. So I'm going to say, hey, I've got a new client named Stephanie. Denise goes, who's Stephanie? Well, thank you for asking because you played an important part of this. Do you remember connecting me to Joyce? Do you remember, she connected me to Christy. Christy referred me to this client. Thank you. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. Would you mind spreading the word about this house? Awesome. Here's the other thing is I just got the phone with Joyce. We talked about it a little bit, but it was all good. Would you mind reconnecting? She asked me to reconnect the two of you. Would you give Joyce a call? Sure. Here's the other thing. I'm going to call Jay next. And do you want me to reconnect you to Jay? Yes, I need to talk to Jay anyway. How crazy is that? All right, I'll reconnect the two of you. Here's the other thing, Denise, do you know Christy? Do you know Christy? No. Oh my goodness, two powerful women like you living in the same city don't know each other? Listen, here's what I'll do. I'll do a three-way email. I'll introduce you to Christy. I'll introduce Christy to you, and then you guys take it from there. If it's a partner or a great connection or whatever, then that's okay. Bottom line is it okay if I do that three-way email by the end of the day today? Oh, that'd be awesome. Thank you, Michael. Awesome. And thank you, Denise. And here's the thing. We're going to get Stephanie's house under contract. We're going to get it closed. Do you mind if I just give you an update on when that happens because you played such an important part of this? Is that okay? Awesome. Denise, I appreciate you. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. And click. All right. What'd you learn? Oops. Sorry about that. What'd you learn? Ten people. In this case, it's so how far back do you go with the referrals in the queue, and when do you know how to stop? I never stop. I want to go all the way back as far as I can. We have done this with people who were 60 years old and they went back to middle school dance or a high school homeroom or a college roommate. Devin is saying, I have definitely learned the power of effective communication. Tina says, by reconnecting everyone, they are all talking about you and you are still doing business. Yeah. And how do you think that goes? So Joyce calls Christy. Come on, everybody come back to this. Joyce calls Christy. Joyce calls Christy. Christy answers, hey, Joyce, or hey. And Joyce says, hey, Christy. And Christy goes, hey, Joyce. And Joyce goes, yeah, I just got off the phone with Michael Mayer and he said we needed to reconnect. And Christy goes, yeah. And Michael is so blank. Like, what are some words that Christy would use to describe me? I'm not fishing for compliments here. They would be saying these words about you when you do the great retrace. So Tina says, awesome. Michael is so awesome. Isn't Michael awesome? What else? What other adjectives would you use? Come on, everybody, let's go. Come on, type in the questions box, everybody. Some of you are like watching this by Proctor. You're just like you're like a lurker. You're like a stalker. No, wait. Tom, what is that called? Kevin, do you really think they say Michael is great? I mean, really think of better adjectives here. Let's break out the thesaurus and like, what would they really say? Right? Christy's like, yeah, Michael, he's so blank, informative, appreciative, grateful. I can't believe he remembered me. Thoughtful, caring, professional. That's interesting. So, by the way, none of you said hot. And I just want you to know that's probably what she said. She said, yeah, Michael, he's so hot. Come on, why didn't any of you guess that? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? If Brad Pitt was running this webinar, the answers would be different. I'm just throwing it out there, right? All right, so the fact of the matter is they're talking about me and they're talking about me in a very complimentary way. And you got to realize they're actually practicing referring me, right? Talking about me leads to referring me. And here's what's funny. Denise calls Joyce. This is a true story, not about this great retrace, but it is a true story about Denise. Denise called someone in the Strand. And in her talking to that someone in the Strand, she was actually reminded of someone she knew that needed to sell their $1 million house. So Denise calls me back and say, I can't believe I did not talk to you about Salim. Salim needs to sell. Okay. And we helped Salim sell their his and his wife's $1 million home. So good stuff. Now, this is just one great retrace. What if we did multiple great retraces? What if we documented our introductions, connections, and referrals? What if we tracked those things? Well, what happens is we discover people hubs. There are people who are big time connectors, influencers, introducers, and referrers. And the only way to really discover them is with the Great Retrace. You will also find that there are place hubs. There are places you go that leads to referrals. So an example is softball field. For me, I used to I played a lot of softball, and then I would go to the bar and I would drink a couple of beers with the buddies. And then I quit doing that because I got married. No judgment. I want no comments about that in the questions box. And so I quit drinking with my buddies, right? And then I did my analysis on my business, and I'm just throwing this out there. I had evidence to support that maybe I should have a couple of beers with my buddies because my buddies were big time referral sources. And when I quit drinking with my buddies, they forgot to refer me. So I'm just saying that if any of you are looking to drink beer with your buddies, do the Great Retrace. Okay? There you go. Interest hubs. So softball was a very big interest hub for me. Very big. I got a lot of referrals from softball. Another one is church. Church is the place, and then volunteering for different things within the church, like a board or a committee or a group, all turned into referrals, right? Lenders. Are you doing presentations for realtors? If you're not, I will tell you that coaching hundreds of lenders over the years have shown me that even if you can't do it in their office because they have a closed door policy, getting them out of the office and doing some kind of education or some type of whatever, you could teach what I taught today, is a great way to meet realtors and get referrals from realtors. All right, so that's when you start tracing all of your referrals and all of your introductions and all of your connections. Okay. All right. So there are 5 triggers or milestones that trigger a series, the touches. One is the referral, which I'm going to share with you in a second. I have already talked about the exclusive right to sell. Now it makes sense why I only do a voicemail or a text for the exclusive right to sell. I don't want to ruin the power of the phone call, which comes later in day 0. And then the contract. So we get it under contract. We shoot a voicemail or we shoot a text and say, hey, Stephanie's house is under contract. Our marketing worked. Thank you for spreading the word. And then the closing happens and it's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know Stephanie's house is closed. Her family is back together and you helped make it happen. Thank you so much. Got it? All right. So that is the Great Retrace. What do you think? You like it? Good stuff? Say, give me a comment in the questions box. So we got some love-its. Thank you. Awesome. This is a different approach than I've ever heard. This is different than anything I've ever heard. This is awesome. Lots of awesome. By the way, Devin, that's your fault because you used the word awesome earlier, and now everybody is using the word awesome. Awesome is just a great word. It comes off the mouth easy. It's awesome. And like it means like awesome, but it's kind of lost a little bit of its luster, but it's still awesome to say. Isn't that awesome? Actually, it's brilliant. Thanks. Sure, Kathy. Way to throw on a bigger, more powerful adjective. I love it. It's amazing. It's better than transactional. You're right, Devin. You know, something that I want to share with you is that, you know, there's these 3 levels of business. There's a business that's transactional, and most businesses are transactional. They're transactional. They're like, you do the transaction and it's done. Now, there are other businesses that are transactional and relational. Like you become friends with your client. You become closer to your client because of the transaction. Hopefully that's a majority of these situations, but it's not, right? You have not become relational with Walmart. And trust me, that is Walmart's fault, not yours. Now, transactional, relational, but here's the thing that I want you to think about forever is there is a third kind of business that is far more rare, and these are the really profitable ones, and that is the business that has become transformational. So you need to go from transactional to relational to transformational. And the way that we transform is we transform our clients from clients to stark, crazy, raving fans, ambassadors who are on the street speaking about us, talking about us, and referring us willingly. And that is an army of ambassadors. That's build a transformational business, right? So now, are any of you in the Kansas City area? Is anybody here in the Kansas City area? Just say yes if you're in the Kansas City area. So Kevin, you're in the Kansas City area. Who else is in the Kansas City area? So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain Gen KC, okay? And I'm just going to give you a brief overview. It's going to be like a 5-minute deal. And then I'm going to give you like the greatest investment opportunity ever on Gen KC. And then we're going to be done. We're going to be out here, right? I'll answer your questions if you want to ask your questions. So here's the thing. Gen KC is coming to Kansas City, right? It's going to be October 3rd. And we have some great sponsors. Old Republic Home Protection is a great sponsor. Summit Lending with Darren Copeland is a sponsor. AM Cards with Curtis Lucy is a sponsor. Omnipresent Marketing Company is a sponsor. And Cutco is a sponsor, right? So lots of great sponsors. There might be an opportunity for an insurance sponsor, just throwing that out there. But here's the thing. There's three options for Gen. One is a champion half day, which you're not going to do, by the way, because I have reserved some ambassador experience tickets for you at less than champion price. So here, ambassador experience is a full day, including bonus sessions, lunch, and a private cocktail networking reception with the speakers, including myself. And then the ambassador roundtable is a table of 10. We have lenders who buy a table at 10. Their rep or LO sits at the table with 9 realtors, and it works out really, really well. Okay. All right. So as a champion, you will receive a half day, more ideas like the Great Retrace, and we will also bonus you a book. Okay. Champion seating is $299. People have purchased that online for $299. Lots of people. They did not get the book. They did not get the Great Retrace info. But you're going to get a book, and you just got the Great Retrace presentation. All of that would be $329 plus, but that's not the investment. It's $149, right? So that's good enough. All tickets are 100% tax deductible. Now, this is the opportunity, and this is ambassador. So what does ambassador look like? From 9:30 to 10, you will get red carpet registration. You'll come in, register, and then you'll take your seats. And the first session we're going to do is we're going to give you some social media posts that you can post on Facebook to get referrals. Then we're going to dive into how to get 60 referrals in one day. That's right, how to get 60 referrals in one day. And then we're going to talk about a 52-week plan for your database, a 52-week plan for your client database, for your clientele, your customer base, whatever you want to call it. We're going to give you a 52-week plan, but what those that are going to Gen KC don't know is I'm actually going to give you two. I'm going to give you two 52-week plans broken down week by week, calibrated to every week of the year to maximize it for referrals. I'm going to give you two of those. Lunch. Then in the afternoon, we are going to go over literally the plan for how to maximize your referrals for 2020. And I will tell you that it is going to be crazy awesome fun. And then 5 to 7 p.m., we have the private cocktail reception with myself and some special guests. And we are looking for a cocktail reception sponsor. So if that's something that is sounds good to you, that would be a great idea. All right, for those of you that do Ambassador, we are not only going to bonus you a hardcover of the book, we are also going to give you the audiobook with a 4 CD series plus all the bonuses. But not only that, if you do Ambassador, you will get the 2 52-week plans that we typically sell for $497. You're going to get both of those, right? Now, what's the investment? Here is the investment for Ambassador. So normally this is a $499 seat. That's what we sell that for. We do have people who bought that online for $499. The lunch is typically around $50. The cocktail reception is $50, and that might be a low estimate for some of you. We're going to give you the 2 52-week plans for your database, the book, the audiobook, the whole smorgasbord, over $1,000 worth of value. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, it's not $1,000. For Ambassador, full day, lunch, all the content, it's just $199. I mean, that's $199. And that's my way of showing my appreciation for your being on here today, is you are actually going Ambassador for less than champion cost, which is pretty cool. So Gary Keller is one of the foremost thought leaders in the country. He says, master the generosity game, build a powerful referral-based business, put the wisdom of Michael J. Mayer and the 7L system into practice now. We have an Ambassador Roundtable, which is 10 tickets. You can get them for $17.97. All tickets are 100% tax deductible this year. I don't know if that'll change next year. To summarize, Operation Gen Gen KC is October 3rd in Overland Park. Your choices are Champion, $149, you get a book. Ambassador Experience is $199, crazy. Full day, book and audio. And then Ambassador Roundtable is 10 tickets for $17.97. So the way to get that is you can go to gengenkc.com right now and use code KC. So if you go to gengenkc.com, use the code KC, you are in for $199, people. Are you kidding me? Dave Ramsey's not going to be there, but he thinks you should be. Dave Ramsey said the ability to build relationships is the backbone of a successful business. The phone call, the handshake, the lunch meeting, that's where business is done, and Michael J. Mayer knows how to do it. If you want to win in business, you've got to learn how to win with people, and the 7L system will show you how to do just that, right? How many of you know Dave Ramsey? You've heard of Dave Ramsey? How many books does Dave Ramsey endorse? You guys know how many books he's endorsed in his career, in his life? 5. One of these is 7L. That's crazy, right? I mean, that's awesome. All right, but wait, there's more. Yeah, I've always wanted to say that. You heard me earlier talk about the housewarming parties, and that we throw the housewarming parties for every one of our clients, and it could be used for an insurance agent, a lender, or any other type of business, including landscaping, pool, patio, whatever it may be. But here's the deal. I'm going to give you the entire housewarming party system, which we typically sell for $497, checklist, procedures, door prize entry forms, the whole thing. We typically sell it for $497, but if you do Ambassador today, then you get the entire housewarming party system for free as a bonus. So what's this look like now, right? Event, lunch, networking reception, book, 52-week plans, complete housewarming party system, and the audiobook, all for over $1,600, not your investment. The price didn't go up because I added stuff. The price is still just $199. That's an investment in yourself and in your $199. If you just get one referral from learning something that day, what if you get a referral that day? Would that pay for it? Probably. All right, to summarize, $149 for champion. Ambassador is $199. You get all those bonuses, including the housewarming party, the 52-week plans. You don't get those if you're champion. If you do champion, you get a chair. If you do ambassador, you get a nice table with a bunch of friendly people and networking. All right, go to gengenkc.com and use the code KC. Now, I promised you that I would deliver on the first trigger, which is the every referral triggers a retrace. So I have to tell you, early on, you got to realize I was getting over 500 referrals a year, but only 200 to 250 were turning into business. So you got to realize, so we were getting 500 referrals and only half of them were actually turning into business. But I wanted a lot of people to know that I got referred. And so do you. You want a lot of people to know that you got referred, because when they see that you got referred, they might refer you themselves. So here's what I started doing, and I will tell you that it was like turning on a faucet for referrals. So the example here is Jeff Crooks is the fourth person down. So like Denise, I went to Jeff's wall and I said, now please notice, this does not show up on my wall. It shows up on Jeff's wall because I'm going over to Jeff's profile and posting this on his wall. It says, hey dude, just wanted to say thank you. James Schneider referred me a great seller today. And if you remember correctly, you connected me to Christina Larson, who introduced me to James Schneider at a networking function. So without you connecting me to Christina, I would have never met James. And as a result, I would have never had the opportunity to help this family. Thank you to man, right? So it's the same script, it's just typed out. And James Schneider is tagged, Christina Larson is tagged, and it's on Jeff's wall. So her friends all see it, she sees it, his friends see it, and all his friends see it, and Jeff's friends and himself see it. And he says, you have a great memory, brother. And I say, I have a great brother if I remember right. So it turns into a conversation, right? Questions? Yes, he did. He did endorse his daughter's book as well, Rachel's book. Yep. Thank you. Questions or comments? Roundtable. Let me get the summary up there. All right, I keep all of this in an Excel file. Now, you might think, why don't you keep it on? Well, I've had CRMs that have gotten blanked out before. In fact, that happened like in my third year of business, and I lost like all these. I had to recreate the entire thing. So I put it into an Excel file, and then I copy that. I actually keep a copy of that on a backup drive. That's how valuable the Great Retrace is. Will everything at GenGen be relatable to the insurance industry? Will everything yes, it will be. In fact, you will be now, there will be a lot of realtors in the room. I will tell you, which by the way, if you're in insurance, why the heck would you not be there? It's like being in a room full of your best referral sources. But I want you also to know that all of the content will be applicable to you and to you referring back to your realtor referral partners. But the big gist of it, I have to tell you, I teach it to people like Chick-fil-A, Krispy Kreme, Taco Bell, and everything in between that, to a brand new insurance agent, realtor, or lender. So it's very relatable. Here's the difference, Cynthia and Kevin, and some of you guys that are in insurance. The difference is that nobody's doing it in the insurance business. Very few people are doing so you instantly stand out and differentiate yourself in a really big way. The problem in the real estate is I've been around in real estate for a while, so now it's like people are doing it. Well, when you do it, you kind of throw off your competition because it's hard for them to do it without looking like a copycat. So you're on the cusp here and in a really, really powerful position. So there you go. I hope you can make it. Buy a table. Other questions? One minute. I promised we'd be done in an hour, so which would put us in one more minute. Kathy, my Excel file essentially just has their name, contact information on a horizontal path. So you remember how I wrote down their names like vertically on the page? Well, when I go to put it in Excel, it actually has their name on the left and then it goes to the right, right? So referral source 1, referral source 2, referral source 3. But I have to tell you at this point, by the time I get to referral source 3, 4, 5, there's already a strand with that person's name. You know, there's already a retrace done, like Denise. So if Denise was ever in the strand, I don't have to recreate that strand or that trace because I've already got Denise's trace all the way back to Joe, as a matter of fact. Great question. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on. I hope that you've been inspired and motivated to go build your army of ambassadors, because the beauty of that is that there are unpaid salespeople walking the street selling you, and guess what? You don't have to. You don't have to sell yourself because they are selling you. They are speaking highly of you. And I will tell you, there's nothing better in business than having an army of ambassadors. But the other beauty of this is you also learn how to build great friendships and great relationships. So it's not just about getting the referrals, it's about building a great relationship and building a better you. So I appreciate all of you. Have a great day, and we will see you on the next Army of Ambassadors or Referral Mastery webinar. Thanks you, everybody.